Welcome to 2 Hours to Meaningful Work, and thank you for sharing what meaningful work is to you. And I just want to respond to what you were saying, Marisa, about realizing that every person comes to you with their own story. And so you just can't treat a job or connection with people as just, you getting a job. You got to talk to and acknowledge the story, this human being with a real story behind them. And that's a really awesome thing that you're mentioning right now, Marisa, because that's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh,
Now, we're going to go through a very, almost pretty data-driven, but human process right now. And I'm going to ask you to please pull up a spreadsheet if you can, like Google Sheets or Excel. If that's not something you're comfortable with, then just a piece of paper and pen is fine.
I
And
do have Excel open now.
okay,
Me too.
great. So just make 3 columns, and I'm sorry, we're going to make 4 columns. And you guys are also going to open up the link that I've included in the chat. It is a link to the 2 Hours to Meaningful Work document. And have those side by side and be ready, because we're going to fly through this, because we're not doing 2 hours today. We're doing 1 hour. And actually 10 minutes have gone by, so we're doing this in 50 minutes.
I
And
don't see the chat.
okay, I'm going to just pop it up one more time. You're going to look down at the bottom, and you'll see me sending a chat message with a link to.
There you go. I got it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Link to 2 Hours to Meaningful Work doc is in the chat. Let me know when you're ready.
Yep.
Okay, Becca looks like good to go. Marisa, you good to go?
Yeah, I got it. Where
Okay,
is,
fantastic.
now
Okay,
I lost
so let's get started now.
video.
I want for you to just.
Oh, did Marissa say she lost it? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Marissa, did you say you lost it?
I got it, but I can't find my camera now. Is this Zoom?
Yes.
No, this is a tab.
It's a Google Meet. It's
Oh,
a tab
meeting.
in
Okay, Google
browser.
Meeting. Okay, now I got it. Now I got it. Okay.
Okay.
It confuses me too every time.
Okay.
And then,
Okay, so let's fly through this. I want for you to know a very important statistic. 80% of jobs are gotten not by LinkedIn, not by Indeed, not by any postings you see on email from a recruiter. 80% of jobs are found by networking with the people you know and their second-degree contacts. 80% of jobs. And that's important to know, because obviously that's really critical if you've been spending hundreds of hours clicking on LinkedIn and Indeed posts and responding to recruiters. It's honestly should be the last thing you do. And the first thing you should be doing is this process. And so this 2-hour job search process is research-based. It is a precise system that turns goals that you have into interviews. Okay? These are not tips and tricks. It is a system. And so we're going to do the system now. And the main thing we're going to do that takes probably the most energy is generating a list of employers. Now you'd think, why would that be difficult? Well, we're going to go into it now, and then you're going to see. So there's a person, an author, who actually wrote this book, The 2-Hour Job Search, Steve Dalton. And I have adapted this book because what I found is the 2-hour job search is not 2 hours, at least not his method. When I tried it, it was not 2 hours. It was more like 8 or 24.
yeah.
It was tough. And what I realized is that you need to have a certain type of mindset to generate these lists. And it's not just going to come out of thin air. And so what we'll do now is experiment with these meditations, and it's going to be very simple, and I'll walk you through it. So the first thing we're going to do is generate a list of 10 employers, at least 10, of people you dream to work for, people you really admire and dream of working for, companies. Okay, think of groups of people, maybe it's even experts that you want to work with. This is what we're going to start with. And I'm going to set a timer. And I want for you to just relax and get out of your mind all the things that you need to do, all the things you haven't done, all the people you need to follow up with. Just erase that for a minute. We're just going to think about companies, experts, groups, industries. And if you want to keep it simple, just companies. All right? And we're going to take 1 minute, and I'm going to set an intention for your dreams, your dream employers to open up to you, and you to let go of any obstacles that you have about that. Just imagine your dream employers, and we're going to start now. Now, imagine your dream employer coming up to you or sending you an email. Who are they? What have they said? Write down that company. And then move on to the next. And to see a flood of people asking for your special expertise or your knowledge, your background and network. And they really see you. They see what you deliver.
See.
Just keep writing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, that's 1 minute, is I'm going to let you keep writing. Or keep going for 5 more minutes, starting now. And when you're ready, look up, raise your hand, or I will let you know when time's up. 5 minutes. Just see these employers coming up to you and seeing your skills, seeing your stand, seeing your meaningful purpose. And they're so thankful to have found you. They're so thankful to have connected after decades or years of not finding, your skills, or having lost touch with you after working together on a great project or in a great department. And they're asking for you. They're like, you are the person for this.
Unknown caller.
think I've got.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys you have another minute and a half. And just so you know, I've just muted you because of the surprise noises. So please unmute when we're done. And again, just keep on generating those lists of people, companies who are needing you, in your work, your skills, your perspective, your caring about the things that matter to them. Thirty seconds. Okay, time's up. So why don't you guys unmute, and starting with Rebecca, or Becca, sorry, starting with Becca, tell me the number of companies, groups, industries, etc. that you've written down.
I got to 15. Like I got to like 12, and then I was like, no, let's get to 15. So I have
Very
15.
nice. Awesome, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's ideal. Marisa, how about you? And don't forget to unmute so we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I got 12. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to point out that there are 3 other groups of prospective employers that you can go through in this document. We're not going to do it now. I will just state them so you can do them on your own later. And that would be employers by the communities you're part of. Like if you went to university or grad school, your alum community is perfect to start with. Your culture, right? So if you have an ethnicity or a special cultural group, or even interests, sports or music, chess playing, people have all these kinds of groups of people that you work with and you have common values. And it's worth looking by that. Now, you can also look simply for employers with job posts, which most people do. And we recommend Indeed here because it's the most comprehensive database job site. And you can look at trending employers. And what I mean by trending employers are the organizations that are hot right now, like OpenAI. That's an example of a hot trending employer in 2023, which is probably going to sound old in a couple of years, but that's the kind of employers that's worth generating for trending employers. So we're going to actually move on to first sorting through this list. We're going to identify 5 top employers that you're going to actually email today. So first, alphabetize the list. And after you do that, you're going to create 3 columns next to a list of employers that are titled the following. First column is connections. And in this column, we're going to mark yes or no to whether you have connections at the first or second degree. Either you know them directly, they are in your LinkedIn connections or Facebook, or they're in your friends' LinkedIn or Facebook connections. Now you can obviously use other types of media or just knowledge to determine that. But why don't you go through a list now? And I will give you 2 minutes for the activity, starting now. Mark yes or no, I have connections or I don't have connections. Just look at the list of people and see if you know alumni. You may need longer for this, but I'm just going to actually trust that you'll go back to this soon and finish the rest of the list. But try to get at least 3 to 5 companies where you say, yes, I have connections there. First or second degree. And you have about 1 more minute to do that. And if you only have 1, that's fine too. That's all you need for this exercise. Ten more seconds. Okay, that's time. All right, so Becca, how many do you have that you're connected to?
7.
Awesome. Marisa, how many companies do you have you're
I only
connected
have
to?
4.
Fantastic! Yay!
Hey!
Yeah, really get going here. Okay, so the next column is interest, and you should be able to fly through this because this is our list of dream employers. So just put 5s in the columns. If you're finding that you're actually not as interested, you can put a 3 or 4. Fly through that and give you a few moments for that. And then we'll go on to the third column. Just look up when you're done. Okay, let's wrap this up.
It's 7 o'clock.
Thank you. We're going to go to the third column, but I noticed you guys are looking very intensely at this interest column. That's interesting. I assure you, you can go back. Now, with postings in the third column, just find out whether they are hiring. And we're going to put 1 of 3 numbers in that column. 1, no posts. There's no job postings. 2, yes, there are job postings, but nothing that looks like it pertains to you. 3, yes, you found job postings and you found specific positions you would apply for and realistically can attain. So I will give you 5 minutes for that, starting now. And to repeat, 1 means there are no posts. 2 means there are posts, but not applicable to you. And 3 means they have posts and they are definitely applicable to you and your skill set. And obviously, if you finish early, you can go back and fill in any blanks in the previous columns. Got 2 more minutes. And do not click on any posts. Just look at the titles and resist going down the black hole. Okay? You're going to complete the list if you are diligent about that. Okay, you've got 30 seconds. Okay, time is up. So, how'd y'all do? Were you able to complete your list of postings and interest? Becca and Marisa
Mm-hmm.
worked on? Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to filtering this spreadsheet. Do you guys know how to use the filter function sorting? Actually, sorting function in your Google Sheet or Excel. You're going to sort starting with interest from largest to smallest. So you have the highest interest at the top of your list. And then you'll sort by whether there are job postings and sort from largest, number 3, whether they have jobs for you, to smallest, no jobs. And then finally, you will sort in reverse alphabetical for connections so that yes, you have connections is at the top. And if you have a hard time remembering that, it is in the document under step 4. Just scroll down step 4 under the section labeled step 1. Step 4 and step 1. And when you're done, just look up. Yes, great. We're going to go on to the next potentially most time-consuming part, which I'm not going to let you make it time-consuming because I'm going to time you again. And Marisa, how are you doing? You're muted. Please unmute.
Yes, I'm trying to find posting for my desirable companies, but
Okay.
I'm good. So,
Okay. So it sounds like you're getting mostly 1s and 2s.
yeah,
No
choose.
2s? No, that's fine. Totally fine. Okay.
Some ones too, but not
Okay.
3.
No, totally fine.
Yeah.
Do not be concerned because you are in the right place right now.
Okay.
So what you're going to do after you've filtered is you're going to start looking for email contacts for the top 5 of your list after you have sorted by interest, posting, and connections. So those are your top 5 companies you are going to be working with this week. Do not talk to or worry about anyone else, okay? And the point is to be very focused. You're going to get a lot more done more quickly being this focused. So get started thinking about that because you've already been going through this list, but I'm going to give you a list of suggestions of where you can look. Obviously, LinkedIn and Facebook is a great way to get in contact with people, so you can try that. You can also just search for emails by hunter.io is a company email list. You can also just look up people in Google. If you don't have a specific person that you are looking for, just find a general company email or the division head title. Like if you are a data analyst, you might look up, the data science division and see who in LinkedIn is identifying themselves as such, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to now give you 5 minutes for that, starting now. And again, you are grabbing email contacts for at least 1, preferably 2 emails per company. And I'm going to show you what to do with them. This is where the system really begins. And again, if you don't know anybody and you don't know if you have any second degree, just look at your LinkedIn, look at your Facebook. And it doesn't have to be directly connected to the job. They just have to be somewhere in the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got 2 more minutes. Okay, time's up. I gave you a little bit extra time there because it can be a little difficult to find those emails, but it would be great to see how much you got done. So, Becca, how many emails have you been able to find?
A good amount actually, because some of these places I've interviewed with or just know someone pretty directly. And so this is just a good reminder of keeping that connection, just like reconnecting with these people and yeah, just a good opportunity to reconnect.
That's really good, Becca. Awesome. So, how about you, Marissa?
Yeah, I got mostly the email from my connection on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So actually, it's their website. So
Okay.
there's no email. Yeah.
Marissa, do you know how to, I only just discovered this, but in LinkedIn, when you click on like contact info at the top, it'll like, if you're a direct first connection, sometimes it'll open up and show you their email address. And even if there's second connection, sometimes it's there, but
Very nice tip.
yeah, like I don't know if that's a newer thing, but I just discovered that like a few weeks ago, and like a direct connection I had, I was like, oh gosh, they changed jobs. I don't have their new email and I want to email them.
Where is that again?
It's like their name and their like little one-liner, and then there's like a link that says contact info, and if you click on that, it'll show what they like their settings have enabled them to share with others.
Oh, the contact. Yes. Okay.
So your first
I got it
connection,
now. Yeah.
yeah, email.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah.
great. So now that we have that out, let's get to the next step because we only have 15 minutes left. I want to make sure you get at least one email out today. Okay, so you scroll to step 2 in the document, and we're going to write a simple 5-point email. And I want for you to write this fairly quickly. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write this. And what you're going to write is your name. Hi, I'm Becca. And how you're connected. And we are previous colleagues at X company, or whatever that is. And then the request, which is actually a rote request, although you can customize it. And I have 20 minutes to ask you about your experience with X company, and then state why. Because I'm hoping to learn more about the company or this role or about this mission or whatever it is. That why you can leave blank to customize it further. But I just want you to get the bare bones out. And then you're going to write this follow-up and write it exactly as it's written here. If we don't connect, I will reach you next week to set up a time to speak. And while that line may not initially make sense right now, I will tell you why. And then the closing signature, signed Becca. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And as you write, I'm just going to say a few things. Again, your name, how you're connected, a request for 20 minutes, because you are going to have a 20-minute informational interview with this person, and you are not asking for a job. Let me repeat, you are just asking for 20 minutes. You are not asking for a job. Do not request a job, because you'll risk alienating people who can support you before trust is built. Okay, this whole thing is about building relationships and trust. Okay, 1 more minute. It's probably really good to put some care into why, but you don't have to. You can just make it very simple. Just want to learn about the company or learn about your experience. That's a great catch-all. I just want to learn about your experience. Okay, 45 seconds. Again, don't worry about the exact wording because you can always go back. I just want you to get the bare bones of it out. 10 more seconds.
What's the good subject again?
Don't worry about it right now.
Okay.
Just the email. Okay, time's up. Again, you're just writing the email, forget the subject line. Okay. Now, what you're looking for is somebody who's going to support you. And in this document is called a booster. A booster is someone who will not only connect you with somebody you can speak to, but just really loves it. They love helping. They're really excited about it. This is not a transactional thing. It's not like, hey, you do this for me and I'll do this for you. This is fulfilling people's just enjoyment of helping another person. Meaningful work, giving meaning to this person. And you're looking at who they are, and you're going to learn more about how they view things by having an informational interview. That is the point. And for you to connect and see how your values connect, how your worlds connect, et cetera, et cetera. So this is how we're going to find them. We're going to use Steve Dalton's 3B7 process. 3 business days, 7 business days. That's all it means. So the basic routine is this. You're going to send this email to the first contact you have in your company's email list. Hopefully you have 2. If you don't, you'll just send it to the 1 person and that's it. So then 3 business days later, you're not going to write that same person again. You're going to write a second contact if you have that. If you don't, just leave it alone. You're not doing anything. If you have one contact, leave it alone. Your next action is not until 7 business days later. Now you're just going to watch, because then the ball is in their court while you're waiting for 3 and 7 business days. You're looking to see if they'll respond. If they respond within 24 hours, I guarantee you that is a booster. Even 1 to 3 days, that's probably a pretty good sign you have a booster. No response, it's possible that you don't have a booster, but they also could just be really busy. So that's what the good thing about doing 3 business days to a second contact, so you're not harassing them too soon. But in 7 business days, you're going to get back to that first contact. So email is followed up within 7 business days, and hopefully you have a second contact that you're juggling and a 3-day delay. Does this make sense? Do you guys have any questions about what I just said? Okay, great, you're nodding. That's awesome. Okay, so what you're going to do is set 2 reminders in your calendar right now for these email tasks. So first, write a reminder to send the initial email, and do that today or tomorrow. And then 3 business days later, so today's Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, set a reminder to write the second contact if you have one. And then 7 business days later after today, which would just be next Thursday, write 1 more reminder for the first email you sent. And what you're going to do then is you're going to either email them or you're going to call them if you have their phone number or way of reaching them. The reason is because you said in your first email that you will reach out in a week, and you may just call to speak with them. You said so in the email. So they shouldn't be terribly surprised. Although I know in these days people don't talk on the phone that much, but you'd be surprised how much that makes you stand out. So if you can get a phone number, do it. Just do it. Okay. If text is something that you feel more comfortable with, I would reach out with a text and give them a warning shot that you're going to call them.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And go ahead and finish those reminders. I'll give you 1 more minute for that. And then we'll just go through a few things. I think those reminders are really critical. There's just so much going on in our lives. So many things we're juggling, especially if you're a job seeker that doesn't have a job. It's like, oh my God, there's just life rolling right over me. Really prioritize this and make it the most powerful next action you can do. Okay, if it isn't, then handle whatever needs to be handled first, and realize that reaching out to your network is literally the most powerful thing you can do to get meaningful money in the door, get meaningful work that also brings prosperity to yourselves and your family. And that's important, because if you can sustain yourself and your family, you can keep on bringing, If you can sustain yourself and your family, you can keep on bringing robust and meaningful change that sustains itself. And that's the goal of this. It's not easy to reach out to people, but once you get into doing it, and as a regular type of process, you'll realize most human beings before the internet, we did this all the time. And you can do it. It's still in our genetics to be able to connect, and we actually really desire social connection. And so that is actually what I find meaningful in sharing this work with you all. Okay, so as Marisa said, it's important to know stories behind people. Yeah, and this is what we're doing. So when you get all this busy work done, you're going to connect with people. You're going to learn their stories.
Yes.
This is really awesome.
Yes. Yes.
It's just awesome to see what people are up to, what their own dreams are, what they hope to make, how they want to make an impact. So this is actually really exciting because instead of having these conversations that are like in social media or in your head, you can actually talk with a real person. You have someone you can collaborate with to make the change that means the world to people in whatever special way you have to give. And so in that note, I want you to take a look at the last pages of this document where it says step 3, recruit. Well, I'm going to call that connect. In fact, I'm going to change that right in the document as we speak. Because it's not recruit, it's deep, authentic connection. And we are going to conduct, we're just going to have informational interviews. And I want you to prepare for these interviews. You're going to research this person's story that you can find on the internet and just know that that is like 5% of who they are. But it's good to have basic points, right? Like their role or their previous roles. And again, you're not asking for a job because you're connecting. And maybe you're going to be able to get them some really great mentoring because you're coming to them with a need. And you know what? People love serving. They love helping. Do you know that helping versus receiving has some interesting science statistics behind it? There's MRI scans of people in a research study that I need to look up. I'll post it some other time soon. And they found that people who help, who give, get a much higher serotonin boost than people who receive. So you're actually giving people an opportunity to help. And it's so different when you're doing it online versus in person with a voice, with a human they can see. And believe me, you know, people love helping online. I actually helped send hundreds of Afghans during the crisis in Kabul 3 years ago, all online. Most of my colleagues I've never met in person. And that was incredible. And imagine what it would be like for me to meet the Afghans that I met, that I served, or the people that I worked with to get that done. And it's life-changing. And so be life-changing because what you bring is special. Just know that. Really embrace that. Okay? Now I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about where I'm coming from to share this work with you. I run a nonprofit called the Co-Caring Initiative, and it is through that nonprofit that I served those Afghans, and I'm serving you. And I right now have a formal educational program that is launching this summer, and it is called the Prosperity Code. And in the Prosperity Code, kind of work that we're doing is exactly what I'm sharing now, except not only is it systematic, doesn't take much time, you'll also be with a crew of incredible leaders, creatives, people making things happen. These aren't just job seekers, although there are a lot of people who are, and there are a lot of people who are starting companies. And the purpose of building this program out and this work is to build an incredible infrastructure of leaders who are going to bring our world to the next chapter it needs. So I am so grateful to have served both of you, Becca and Risa. And I would just like to ask, would you have any interest in my following up with you about the program? And if you say yes, I will just follow up with a link to have a conversation. So Becca, would you like to have a conversation with me about the Prosperity Code?
Sure. Yeah. Happy to learn more. Yeah.
Okay, great. Marisa, would you like to have a call with me?
Yeah, me too.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you to both of you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Marissa.
Good evening too.
Great. And I will send you both this document again as a follow-up. And would you like that I include both your emails so you can stay in touch?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. Have a great
Thank
night,
you.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.